The WWF in 1992 is a guilty pleasure of mine. The wacky characters, the major stars, the transition from the major stars to a rebuilding period. It's just an amazing year. And one of the first years that I can recall being a major fan of wrestling in general. But luckily, with Pro Wrestling Sim, I can recreate a different vision for the World Wrestling Federation in 1992. What can we change? What could we do differently? Who could we bring in? That's what I'm going to do here. Hopefully, it's a little bit better. Now, obviously, there's things that are iconic, and I'm going to try to do things completely different. I don't want to do the same storyline. I mean, what's the point in that? There's no creativity in that. You know, in 1992, Randy Savage and Ric Flair have a fantastic feud with the whole "she was mine before she was yours." Ric Flair claiming to have been in a relationship with Miss Elizabeth, and the climax of that being at WrestleMania 8. But it's a challenge, and challenges are fun. So what can we do here in 1992? Now, a few things. This game is fairly accurate, as I kind of just looked through before recording here. And I'm sure I'm going to come across things that maybe aren't as accurate. But as it stands right now, there are 3 programs that we would have to essentially book. There's Superstars of Wrestling, Wrestling Challenge, and Primetime Wrestling. And 1992 is the last year of Primetime Wrestling, as Monday Night Raw would be the new primary television source in 1993, although technically Superstars of Wrestling was the A program for probably the first 2 years of Raw. Superstars was considered the A program. But in this universe, when Raw eventually becomes a thing in 1993, that will be our main focus. But as you can also see here, WWF Live, these are house shows. And yes, I'm going to be booking house shows. Just as we're scrolling through all these. And this goes all the way to like 2025, by the way. I don't know if we'll do that much of this, but who knows? We'll see. Introduction here to the roster. Now, there are some names on here that are not technically in the WWF at the time. But it's kind of, nitpicking, I guess you could say. Obviously, we have Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Randy Savage, Mean Gene is our interviewer, Ted DiBiase is the $1 Million champion, which I think is kind of just forgotten about pretty early on in 92. It's certainly not mentioned by WrestleMania 8, but maybe we'll keep it around. I don't think it'd be too big of a deal. We have Roddy Piper, Snuka, Akio Sato. I think he's an agent, actually. Andre the Giant, but he's not going to be wrestling. Animal, one half of the Legion of Doom, is a tag team champion. Barry Hardy is just an enhancement guy. Same thing with Barry Horowitz. Bo Beverly is one half of the Beverly Brothers. Big Boss Man. And Billy Silverman is a referee. Other half of the Beverly Brothers. Blake. Bob Schmedley is Bobby Blaze. And he is not technically in the WWF at this time, but enhancement guy. Bobby the Brain Heenan, commentary. Intercontinental Champion Bret Hart. Brian Knobbs, one half of the Nasty Boys. Brian Lee, technically not in the WWF. He, as you can see right here, is with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But we have a working relationship with Smoky Mountain Wrestling, so I guess we could use him if we really wanted to. Brutus the Bar Beefcake, he has a head injury, which is accurate, from the parasailing, and we cannot use him until January of 1993. And I like that little detail. I actually like that quite a bit. Bushwhacker Butch and Luke. Chief J. Strongbow is an agent. Colonel Mustafa. Dave Hebner. Demolition Crush, who is off of television in real life because he would be repackaged into being just Crush. So I'm sure we'll end up doing that. That's another thing I'm going to do. I'm not going to change characters. I feel like that would be like confusing. So he will eventually be Hawaiian Kona Crush. It just might be sooner. It could be later. But he will be. He will not be Demolition Crush for long term, if at all in this. Dino Bravo probably won't be here too long. Dwayne Gill, enhancement guy. Earl Hebner, referee. Earthquake, one half of the natural disasters. Al Matador, Tito Santana. General Adnan. Gerald Briscoe's an agent. Monsoon is a commentator. Greg the Hammer Valentine. Haku. Whippleman. Hawk, the other half of the tag team champions. Hercules. Finkel. Hulk Hogan. Now, I'm not going to go through every single contract, and these are just like default how this is going. We're paying him $500,000 per month. He gets 10% of the gate, 30% of his merch sales, 6% of pay-per-views when he's booked, and his travel expenses. Hopefully, he's worth it. That's a doozy. A lot of these guys have doozies of contracts, by the way, but I feel like it'll probably be offset by pay-per-view buy rates and TV stuff and all that stuff. IRS, one half of Money Incorporated. J.J. Dillon is an agent. Jack Doan, referee. Jake the Snake Roberts. Jerry Saggs, one half of the Nasty Boys. Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Jim Brunzell, pretty much an enhancement guy at this point. Jim Corderas. Jim Powers, another enhancement guy. Jimmy Hart, our top heel manager. Joey Morel is a referee. Kato, as Lord Alfred Hayes would say, but it's Kato. Pretty much an enhancement guy. In the Orient Express as well, with Pat Tanaka technically. Coco Beware. Linda McMahon, she's not going to be an on-air talent or anything in 1992. Although, it's a different reality. This is a whole creative thing. So maybe she could. I guess we'll have to find out. Lord Alfred Hayes, commentator. Louis Piccoli, enhancement. Mark Yeaton, director, agent, but, he won't have any major thing here. Marty Jannetty. Mel Phillips. Not a fan of him. Mike Chioda, referee. Mike McGurk, ring announcer. Miss Elizabeth, manager of Randy Savage. Mr. Fuji, another top heel manager to kind of go with Jimmy Hart there. Mr. Perfect has a back injury, and we cannot use him until November 25th, 1992. And I don't believe it's noted here, but he is associated with Ric Flair. So we'll have to look into that. I skipped him over. Nikolai Volkov, Owen Hart, Papa Shango, or Shango. I enjoy his work quite a bit. Pat Patterson, agent. Paul Bearer, manager of The Undertaker. President Jack Tunney. Ray Rougeau is a backstage worker. Reno Riggins, enhancement guy. Repo Man. Ric Flair. Rick the Model Martel. Scott Taylor, also known as Sky Tuati, enhancement. Sean Mooney, interviewer. Sensational Sherry, manager. Sergeant Slaughter. Shane Stevens, quote unquote, that's clearly Shane McMahon. Shawn Michaels, Sid Justice, Skinner, Slick, Tanaka, Tatanka, Texas Tornado, the Barbarian, the Berserker, the British Bulldog, the Brooklyn Brawler, the Genius, the Mountie, the Undertaker, the Warlord, the Tim White, Tony Chimmel, ring announcer. Typhoon, Ultimate Warrior, who is suspended until April 4th. And there it is, April 4th, 1992, right here. So we cannot use him until the day before WrestleMania 8, because guess what? He makes his return in real life at that time. Vic Venom, he doesn't do it. He's a writer. You can see staff member. Vince McMahon, Virgil, and Von Kruss, also known as Big Vito. He's just an enhancement guy. So we have a bunch of those guys. That's our entire roster. That is technically under contract. Now like I said before, we have working relationships, and I don't know where I go to see that. I think that maybe it's when I'm like booking or something. So let's go to Superstars of Wrestling. So if I go here, yeah, okay. So we have USWA and Smoky Mountain Wrestling. USWA has quite a bit of guys. Now, realistically, this is an era where enhancement matches dominate television. And I don't necessarily want to sign a whole bunch of guys to fill out the enhancement aspect of this series. So what we see here is like Hollywood, John Tatum, Austin Island. Again, I don't really want to go through all these guys in the USWA. Brian Armstrong, Brian Christopher. These are guys that are going to actually amount to something in this, I would imagine, and potentially like serve a purpose down the road. Dirty White Boy, that character is a guy that I enjoy. Same thing with Pritchard. Eddie Gilbert could be a lot of fun. I believe that this game, though, does take into account wrestler deaths. So whenever there's a tragedy, that plays a part. So that's something I have to be mindful of. If I were to, like Texas tornado, for instance, I mean, I think within a year and a half, maybe less, there's a tragedy there. So I shouldn't, have him win the Royal Rumble or something. You know what I mean? So that's just to be mindful. JC Ice, PG-13. Jeff Jarrett, obviously. I mean, I think he'll be in here much sooner than the end of 93, like he was in real life. Jerry Lawler is another guy that will be there pretty quick. Kamala, I'm sure we'll have him in before he arrived. The Harris brothers could be a team that we use. Tex Slazenger, who is Phineas Godwin. Henry Godwin might be more difficult to get. I think he's Master Blaster in this game. Using that. Oh, he's right there, Master Blaster, yeah. So, I thought maybe he was under contract with WCW, so that's how we'll have to deal with it. That's the USWA. Smoky Mountain. Hollywood Bob Holly, obviously Sparky Plug. Barry Horowitz, we already have him on our roster. Boo Bradley. Chris Candido. He would be a heel, though. We're not using him as babyface. Jimmy Del Rey. For the Heavenly Bodies, who will probably be in here before. Rock and Roll Express, I would love to use. So yeah, we certainly have options. Now, if we were to, let's look at all promotions. Our competition, I guess you could say, is World Championship Wrestling, and it's not especially close. Obviously, I mean, they have Sting, Vader. Now, Lex Luger is only under contract until February 20th of 1992. And, we're going to be bringing him in as the narcissist. Should we be able to do so? I don't know if there's going to be a major difficulty in doing that. I love this roster for WCW 92. Maybe I'll do a WCW 92 version of this. It's just, the depth of this is nuts. Wyndham, Anderson, Cactus Jack, Rick Rude, Pillman, Wyndham, Rick Steiner, Steamboat, Ron Simmons, Scott Steiner, Dustin Rhodes, Z-Man. That's Giant Gonzalez. Now, I don't necessarily need to bring people in, and luckily his contract is until December 7th of 1993 in this game, which is not accurate. It probably was more so December of 92, so we're not gonna battle that one. So we don't need to bring guys in, and we don't need to necessarily lose guys in this this universe. Butcher, Big Josh, May of '92. We all know. I don't know. Maybe you don't know, but that would be the future Doink, and we're absolutely going to be probably using a version of Doink. So be on the lookout for that. Bobby Eaton, Diamond Stud. September 17th, '92 is when he's available. Obviously, that's Razor Ramon, and he will be Razor Ramon at some point. Medusa, Michael Hayes, Richard Morton, Stunning Steve, Tommy Rich. Now, Steve Austin, I mean, that's '95. We have a long ways. Tommy Rich, DDP, Johnny B. Bad, '96. We have years to do any of that. Mr. Hughes. There's our boy Kevin Nash, also known as Oz. About just over a year before we can use him. Tracy Smothers. Now this is interesting. I am a huge Tracy Smothers fan, especially in this era when he was with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. There's just something about him as a babyface that connected with me, and I don't know how well it would necessarily translate in the WWF in 1992. It translated well in Smoky Mountain, and this is a guy that, as you can see, is an informal agreement, so we could, I guess, get him whenever we wanted, and maybe have fun with that. I mean, I guess a good comparison would be, and I can't think of the name right now, but there was, I believe it was Scott Armstrong. No, it was Steve. Lance Cassidy. Steve Armstrong went to the WWF in late '92 and kind of fizzled out in real life. Tracy Smothers could have easily fit that role. So there he is right there, Steve Armstrong. I believe they're actually partners. So if he has an informal, he does. Who knows, guys? Do we need to get the Smoking Guns if we have Steve Armstrong and Tracy Smothers? I don't know. We'll see. The possibilities are endless here. Terry Taylor. Well, we won't deal with that. Yeah. Okay. So then these are basically their enhancement talents, which includes Steve Armstrong, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, super young. Obviously, he becomes a bigger name. And their personalities. There's Scotty Flamingo, future Raven, Johnny Polo, Paulie Dangerously. Okay. So there is that. They have 2 referees under contract. We have Global Wrestling Federation. Eddie Gilbert. I don't know why his picture didn't show up on that one. There it is. The Patriot. I love the Patriot. I would probably potentially use the Patriot in this rebooking of sorts. Same thing with Booker T and Stevie Ray. Technically not in WCW. And they have an informal agreement, so there's nothing stopping me from grabbing them. Same thing with Al Snow. Al Snow is a lot of fun in the early to mid '90s, like with Smoky Mountain. His just arrogant attitude. It translated very well. So that would be another guy. Clearly, this is just Barry Horowitz with a different name in Global. Jerry Lynn. If we were to start a light heavyweight division, I would definitely use Jerry. There's John Hawk Bradshaw. A lot of Cowboys with Tracy, Steve, and John Hawk to potentially bring in. And again, I mean, the Smoking Guns, Billy and Bart. I mean, I would probably want to use them as the Smoking Guns. So maybe there's a version of the West Texas Rednecks. That would be a thing. 7 years in the future? Could be fun. You never know. And then obviously the Lightning Kid, also known as 1-2-3 Kid or Sean Waltman. Again, if I were to do a light heavyweight division, which I think, WCW does do in 1992, but then it's like quickly abandoned. New Japan, I mean, I can't envision myself using really. I mean, maybe Scott Norton. I am a big Norton fan. They're not gonna let me use Sting because he's got a written contract with WCW. Does Norton? No, he's just as informal. Okay, so Norton's a possibility. Bam Bam Bigelow. Okay, so maybe I lied. Bam Bam Bigelow we would definitely bring in. Scorpio, Finley. We can make this just so much different than what happened, and I love that. It's got me excited. Samu, which would mean Fatu, and the Head Shrinkers would be coming in. The Viking, which is Ludwig Borga. I definitely would bring in Ludwig Borga. Yeah, okay. So there's so many guys. There's such a handful of guys that we could use, and probably will use. Dave Taylor. This is probably the easiest way to look at free agents instead of scrolling through on the all workers page, which I may still have to do to find certain guys. Dan Spivey, Doug Furness, which would also should be Phil LaFon, is probably somewhere in this game. Tommy Rogers is always fun. Malenko. Okay. Women's. We're not gonna have a women's division because I don't know if there's really enough women to make that viable at this point. Now, luckily, this game updates with future stars as they debut. So that will be something that we can look into in the future. I don't want to have just like 3 women. Where that's not really creative. There's nothing you can do. Bob Backlund. Could we do a legacy run with Bob Backlund that they did? Who knows? Okay, I don't think Al Dandy. Who are you to doubt? Al Dandy. Smokey. Yeah. United, we already did that. Universal, we went through. Dr. Death, but there's not really anybody else. All right. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go through all this. This is a lot. This is borderline just overwhelming to do this, especially right now, because I want to do at least a house show and kind of give an idea of where I would be going. Yeah, this is insane. This is a lot. We have a lot of guys to potentially sign, to fill out a card or a roster. Really, there's guys that we gotta probably get rid of potentially. The guys per appearance, I'm not really worried about. But okay, so what I'm gonna do is, for right now, is we're just gonna leave probably the roster as it is, which is potentially dangerous, I guess, because they could get signed by WCW. So maybe I should put in offers for guys that I really want, because I don't want to. I'm not going to alter anything that happens. I'm not going to go and cheat and grab a guy that I can't sign afterwards. But it is a risk to do that. All right, let's look at our titles. Intercontinental Champion is Bret Hart. $1 Million Champion is Ted DiBiase. Our World Heavyweight Championship is vacant, and the World Tag Team Champions are the Legion of Doom. The World Heavyweight Championship is vacant because of the shenanigans involving Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and The Undertaker from this Tuesday in Texas. So President Tunney decided, hey, you know what? It's going to be held up, and the winner of the 1992 Royal Rumble is going to be the champion. And we're gonna leave that. So what we have at the Royal Rumble 1992 is right here. It's not booked. It's 18 days away. I can click on this. There's nothing booked. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. That's when we will have a champion crowned. Now again, obviously in real life, Ric Flair wins it. I am not inclined to keep that as a reality. What do I mean? Well, it means Ric Flair might not win the championship at the Royal Rumble. We might have to go in a different direction, brother. Yeah, am I saying Hulk Hogan? I might be. Or maybe not. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to find out as I book these shows. So this episode is going to be pretty simple. We're going to go and do the live show. Now, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to book the matches and segments beforehand. Kind of give an overview of the reasoning and whatnot. And then we're going to see the results and how it maybe translates to the in-game audience. So like if there's a match that's booked and I'm thinking that's going to be great and it doesn't connect, whatever the case is, that's how we're going to do it. I'm not going to sit here and literally book the shows. That just doesn't seem like something I would want to watch. So we're not going to do it. So in order to make enough money, though, to maintain these enormous rosters of a whole bunch of guys and hopefully bring in other talent, we need to have house shows. So there's going to be a bunch. And I am not one to have, this house show on the 3rd be the same as the one on the 4th and the 5th. No. I mean, we're going to have to make it a little bit different. Sometimes it'll be probably the same matches because it's house shows, but they're going to be pretty different for the most part. I would hope, at least. So our first show is 2 days away. I am wondering if I should maybe sign some guys or put out some offers. But then, if they're just sitting there for months and months and months, you know what? I guess, it's just going to have to be, we're just going to have to risk it, I think. So, like I said, this show is booked. It's not till the 3rd. So if I hit next day, it will tell us, hey, this guy's been signed to wherever. So let's see. Okay. David Manning has an exclusive offer. New Japan. Ross Hart. Okay. So Fatu has an offer from FMW to sign. We're going to have to maybe not have that be a thing. Rey Mysterio, Jerry Lynn. Okay, so these are pretty much, I think this looks to be mostly just informal offers. Keith Cole. Oh, okay, so see, this is what I'm talking about. So Keith Cole has entered the wrestling world. Flash Flanagan has entered the wrestling world. I like that. I kind of like Flash Flanagan. I only know him really from OVW, but potential enhancement guy that we could use. GWF holds GWF wrestling superstars. The Patriot and John Hawk, 2 guys that we were maybe going to get here. 59%. The Ebony Experience, which is Harlem Heat. They lost to the Wild Bunch. And then the Brass Knuckles Championship, Action Jackson. I don't know why I said that weird. Major Yates, which was Barry Horowitz. Action Jackson won that one. Okay, so what we're gonna do. I'm already saying like no, we're not gonna do this. We're gonna do that. I think we got to do this. We're gonna at least sign potentially. Okay, can I not do it through this? Okay, so let's go here. Okay, cool. This is what we're gonna do. Worker preference. He wants $15,000 per month. I mean, is it just me? But these numbers seem extraordinarily high, right? Like that seems nuts. We're gonna try to lower that to like 8, I guess. We're gonna want a couple of years probably. We'll give him 3 years per appearance. In addition to the monthly fee, that kind of drives me nuts. That idea. His gimmick. Well, he'd be a heel for us. I'll have to look into this later. I don't know. I mean, he's a head shrinker. You know. Yeah, unlimited, buddy. You're gonna be working a bunch. You're not getting any of the gate. Signing bonus? We're not doing that either. I'll give you like $1,000. Okay, let's make an offer. This offer is not even worth considering. No. Okay, that's not good. I think we're gonna have to do this. How about now? Not even worth considering. Okay. $400. Just take it. Come on, dude. You know what? It's probably the sign. I mean, I am insulting him. 10 grand? No. Okay, so we're gonna cancel this. What did he want? What do you want originally? I'm not giving up the gate. And your merchandise sales is no. 3 years. I mean, I guess I'll have to do that. It's not even worth considering. Does he not want to be with the company, or is he adamant about? What if I give him a higher signing bonus? Wow, this guy is very difficult. Fatu, I'm trying to give you a massive deal here. I mean, I can do, it's his merchandise after all. So I can't be that greedy. Okay, he'll consider it. If he doesn't sign with us, I mean, that would be annoying. All right, Samu. All right, so what I'm basically learning is they want travel, which is fine. I mean, that's the least I could do. Merchandise, I mean, that doesn't bother me. The gate, we don't want to do that. Okay, so we don't tell him he's making less than Fatu, right? Because he's making $3 grand less. Okay, he's gonna consider it. The head shrinkers. I mean, I like the head shrinkers a lot. So, Del Wilkes, the Patriot. He wants 20 grand. Well, you could probably go 2 years with him. I mean, the Patriot and like Jim Duggan. Okay, a heel. We're not giving him a heel. Give me a break. The Patriot and Jim Duggan is a unit. Could be fun. Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah, that could be interesting. There's plenty of options here. The pay per appearance thing is kind of driving me nuts here. But if we're good at booking, who knows? It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Unlimited, yeah, we're going to be using you a lot to justify the 20 grand part. Okay, he'll consider it. And then John Hawk. I mean, I'm doing this mainly because I don't want only $5 grand. He's $200. Okay, we're gonna go. I'll give them 5 years at that. I don't want like WCW to sign these guys, because then who knows how long I wouldn't have them. But also, am I going to be using these guys in a timely fashion? I'm going to say probably. He's going to consider the offer there, because, like I said, there's a bunch of guys that I'm going to be getting rid of. Like a guy like Hercules, right? Probably doesn't need a written contract of making however much he was making. Um, that would probably just be silly to do that. Booker T is going to get. I would give this guy a 10-year contract, but he probably wouldn't do that. We'll do 5 years. And again, this isn't that bad. He doesn't want any of his merchandise sales. He just wants 5,500 and 240. I mean, that's the least I could do there. And we gotta get Stevie. I might as well just get Tracy and Steve Armstrong as well. Enhancement talent. I mean, I guess I could use them as my enhancement team, and then eventually make them like an actual like unit. Okay. Should we just get Tracy? I think we're just gonna go get Tracy and Steve, the Young Pistols. We can do 2 years. He wants 20 grand. That's probably not bad. Merchandise is fine. He's a face. Sorry, Jim Cornette. If we get him from you, although I don't think he's technically in Smoky Mountain. 2. Well, we can go. No, yeah, let's go 2. 9 grand per appearance. You're not getting any fraction of the gate. Your merchandise is fine. Let's go there. Okay. Can I get Steve? Ooh, oh my gosh. I could get Steve Regal. In 92, though, it's 23. A pompous guy. Okay. 8 grand. Okay. I don't know. Well, I want to, but I also can't just freaking sign every single guy because then I'll go bankrupt. So that would be bad. All right. So we put in a bunch of offers for basically all the guys in Global that, maybe I should get Lightning Kid. Even, again, and he started off as an enhancement guy, Sean Wallman. So, yep, he'd be Bayface. But I would give him 5 years at whatever you want. I'll up that. It's like 150, because he'll be a great bumper. Yeah. So we'll make an offer. Yeah, thank you, sir. Might as well just give it the same thing to Jerry Lynn, right? Yeah, that's fine. You're not getting the gate. He thinks he'll be a lower mid card, but he wouldn't. I'd be using him as an enhancement talent for right now. Okay. So there's that. Okay, let's go to the next day. Excuse me. All right. These are all still pending. So none of them have signed. At least it doesn't look like they have. Let's see what we got here. Inoki, he won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship for the second time. Okay. Okay, so nothing has really changed. WCW hasn't done seemingly anything. So maybe I'll lose my money a lot quicker than I thought I would. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Well, it's January 3rd, which means it's our first house show. And I do have it booked. So are you ready to see what we're going to potentially do? Okay. Now I'm going to explain this. Now, these match times might come off as a bit alarming. Like, do I really want to watch that? I mean, this is including entrances. Probably, that's how I'm seeing it. So maybe it's even like less. But like, probably on average a minute for a entrance, maybe. That might be even long. So let's say a minute per guy or team or whatever. So like Boss Man and Warlord, it's like really 6 minutes of in-ring action, maybe even less. But yeah, so this is the card. I'm going to explain kind of my rationale here. So Warlord and Boss Man. Boss Man is probably going to try to become one of our bigger baby faces in the company. I mean, he's a big man, and I've always liked his work. So there's probably no reason that he can't be something of substance for us. And really, I mean, at the tail end of '91, he had some steam. '92, he loses a lot of steam in real life. I think the nails stuff takes up a good part of his time, and isn't overly memorable. It's really his last feud, and then he's just kind of enhancement guy from there until he leaves. But I think we can do a lot more with Boss Man than what happened in '92. I have him going over the Warlord, and the Warlord is a dominant-looking man, not necessarily a dominating wrestler in terms of getting wins. So he's probably a guy that would be on the chopping block. You know, if we're looking to maybe freshen up our roster after the Royal Rumble, for instance, he'd probably be a guy that would be departing the company. At least from a written contract standpoint. I mean, I could use him in Hercules as like a makeshift undercard tag team, but I don't need to be paying them, $6,000 or $10,000 a month. So that's something we'll have to look at. The Beverly Brothers and the Bushwhackers. I'm going to have the Beverly Brothers go over 12 minutes, so probably about 10 minutes of action. Probably, a comedy based from the Bushwhackers, but I like the Beverly Brothers as a heel team. And sure, we have Money Incorporated, and we have the Natural Disasters, and we have the Nasty Boys, all on the heel side. But I think two of those teams I've already mentioned are going to be shifted to the babyface side. I do like the Natural Disasters more as a babyface team. And I think the Nasty Boys also have more promise as a babyface team, which would help out with the teams that I want to bring in, who are probably better suited as heels anyway. But yeah, the Beverly Brothers, we're probably going to have them over the Bushwhackers quite a bit on the house shows to just kind of give them momentum and go from there. Our next segment. Now, I am going to have probably one segment on each house show to set up the main event on the same show. Because as I was booking this, I was like, there's no way I can do, or I shouldn't be doing, like 12 matches to fill out a 2-hour or even less than a 2-hour house show. So we're going to have Randy Savage calling out Jake Roberts, considering their real life feud here. And that's going to be our main event. So that's going to be like a 10-minute segment. Miss Elizabeth will not be involved, but it's just going to be kind of tying into that. Tatanka and Haku. Unfortunately, Haku is not happy about this, but Tatanka is a babyface that I want to push. And by the way, these finishes, all of them, are clean. I am a big proponent of clean finishes because there's going to be DQ finishes, there's going to be non-finishes, sure, but if I can do a clean finish and figure a way out to get the momentum for the other guy again, that's what I'm going to do. Haku, though, he's not happy about losing to Tatanka. He has been complaining about it ever since I told him this afternoon. He's just going to have to deal with it. I mean, if he wants to keep a job, whether it be a low mid-carder or whatever, he's just going to have to suck it up and accept that he's going to be taking some losses. Now, if anybody shows this to the real-life Haku, obviously, I don't mean that in real life. I loved him as Meng. And who knows? I mean, I could use him again in a meaningful manner, but we're gonna get Tatanka rolling. A lot of our angles, by the way, are probably not going to be starting until after the Rumble because the Royal Rumble takes up a lot of the time. Just being like, oh, hey, I'm in the Rumble. and we'll utilize the Rumble to highlight feuds that we want to go heading towards WrestleMania 8. So just be on the lookout for that. El Matador, Tito Santana. He's going to go over Skinner. 12 minutes seems like a lot. I don't think it is for these two. Skinner, Steve Kearns, who is Skinner, is not a bad worker. So if we just let these guys go, it probably wouldn't be too bad. I think Tito has a lot to still give throughout 92. And I'm probably going to try to keep him relevant on the lower mid card. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do with Tito for at least a little while here. And then I would treat this, I guess, as the midpoint of our show, probably. Like there'd be intermission after this. The $1 Million Championship is on the line, where Ted DiBiase is going to force Texas Tornado to pass out the $1 Million Dream. 11 minutes. Texas Tornado is beloved by the fans. You know, whatever his health is at, fans just seem to love Kerry. And Ted is absolutely going to be getting pushed in the 1992 universe here. And I think having him just make Kerry pass out is going to just piss people off, and I love that. And doing so cleanly. Like, he's not cheating. There's not a cheat here. He's going to do it straight up. So we're going to do that after about 11 minutes. So insert, your intermission here. I don't think I can put intermission, although I didn't look, so I don't know. But Bret Hart retaining the Intercontinental Championship by making Rick the Model Martel submit. 15 minutes segment. Again, I don't think that's too much time for these two, especially on a house show. Rick Martel, his 92 is really weird in real life, because it's mostly just Tatanka, and then there's a brief period where he has a feud with Shawn Michaels because they're both good looking, and then they don't want to hit each other in the face and all that. We can do a lot more with Rick Martel. His 91 with Jake Roberts was far more memorable. I don't really think they capitalized on it all that great afterwards. But we can figure something out here for the model. I mean, this could be something that we even do at the Royal Rumble. Heads up. We have plenty of TV to set that up. Sid Justice in the Berserker, 3 minutes. This is a squash for Justice. Sid is a babyface. He has not turned. Because again, this is January of 92. So Sid is our babyface. And we're treating him as such. He's going to go over Berserker, dominant fashion. The fans are going to love it. I love it. Main event, Macho Man. He's going to beat Jake with the top rope elbow drop, 15 minutes. But Jake isn't going to let that slide. So he's going to beat him down afterwards to kind of maintain that heat. But of course, once DDT, boom, done. Walks off. But then the fans are going to show the support for Savage. So on the house shows, when we do that, obviously the TV audience isn't seeing that. Just kind of maybe keeping the feud sizzling for the live audience. But TV-wise, like, Jake isn't going to be doing jobs like that. Now, could Jake and Macho Man be a Royal Rumble match? It could. It probably should have been. Could we drag it out to WrestleMania 8? Sure. There is a Saturday night's main event, as I click out of this, in February, I believe. Maybe not. Oh, maybe I don't have it active, the show. Well, once I make it active, there is a Saturday night's main event. And I think we could easily get to Jake and Randy at WrestleMania 8, because, like I said, I mean, I'm going to make it different than what the reality is. What's the point of me booking the same shows over and over again, just as we saw? There's no fun in that. So that is our first house show. Now, this is happening in California. because, well, actually I can change it, but I'm pretty sure. So it was like, I'm gonna try to keep like the location similar. So it was. It happened. I believe the show happened in Oakland, right in the real timeline. But I'm not going to use the Oracle Arena because number one, I don't think it existed. But also, I'm not going to pay $150,000 for a house show to do that. And the Gilbert's Sports Arena doesn't have enough capacity, so we're just going to use this one, right? I mean that seems to be pretty decent. So that's going to cost us basically $29,000. Our max capacity is just under 5,500. Now these are our per appearance, right? So just to kind of give an idea, Warlord is like 11, just over 1,100. There's Macho Man is like, he's a lot, but it's Macho Man. You know, I can't hate that. Hart is almost 12 grand. Miss Elizabeth, I guess she's gonna be there, but she's not gonna be directly involved. Like I'm not gonna do Jake like slapping her and all that stuff. That already happened, I guess, in '91, but we're not gonna make that a driving force kind of going forward. Or we could. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. That just isn't really my vibe though. Yeah. Okay. So that is our cost for what we're doing. Not anything too outlandish. Now, I'm curious as to how much we're making off sales, merchandise, whatever the case is, to justify that. So this will be a good way to kind of see how it translates, like money wise. Active storylines. Well, you know what? I should change that because I don't think we're doing that. This is a default. We got to do that. We will do the barbershop incident to justify Shawn Michaels' heel turn. As you can see, he's not booked on the show. He won't be booked on the house shows because we're probably going to be doing that incident here. Although it did happen, it aired on the 11th in reality, but we can just do it there. I don't think that really matters all that much. Storylines though. I mean, we're not doing this. I don't think we need to do that. So we just have this going on, and I'll have to probably do something in here as we get TV started. So yeah, all right. So let's go here, and then we're gonna start the show. We're gonna see what we got going on. How is it received? How is it received for you? Is this something that is intriguing? If it's not, I'm not offended. It means it's a house show. I just put this together just to like kind of fill it out, you know. The TV part is where I'm going to be. That's going to be really interesting because that will probably set me up better for house shows. Because on those shows they'd have segments where it's like, oh hey, by the way, this is happening at Madison Square Garden, and then insert promos. Like I'll probably have to do that to just even fill TV time, since the enhancement matches are like heavy. Like I'm not booking these shows like you see on AEW or even later on WWE, where it's just like heavy feature matches. Like there will be feature matches, but we're gonna get a whole bunch of guys on the shows, and they're gonna get put over to continue on. Maybe when Raw starts, we'll change that, but with how much TV we have to keep the enhancements. All right, so here we go. Let's start the show. I think I have everything. Like we're gonna be making money and stuff like that. So, all right, we should. I don't. Right? Yeah. Well, we should be fine. All right, there we go. Yeah, we're ready. Let's go. All right. Shocking, guys. Warlord and Bosman did not have a good match. It was a -0.5 star. So that's not good. 50. The crowd seemed to be liking it. 63%. I'm gonna assume that's because of Bossman. Warlord didn't sell much because guess what? He didn't want to lose. Because Bossman, we were trying to make him look good. Warlord, his intimidating presence added to the match. Okay. Interesting. They have good. That's funny. They have good chemistry as opponents, and it helped the match quality. It was negative half star, 41%, and that's seen as a positive, guys. Oh man, I don't know. Okay, 56%. So I mean, the crowd seemed to be. And I'm sure it's again. I'm sure it's because of Boss Man. All right. And by the way, that was the Boss Man slam. I mean, the side slam he won that with. All right, next segment. Let's go. All right. Crowd did not seem to like this as much, which is to be expected. I am not a big Bushwhacker fan at all, so that's fine. Bo had tough time breathing. Oh man, 12. I mean, 12 minutes. Okay, I guess he shouldn't be wrestling the entire time. Both of the Bushwhackers were heavy breathing after 12 minutes. Wow, that's crazy. All right, Blake Beverly, who got the pin, his popularity changed by zero point 0.1. So that accomplished that. Okay, star and a half. That's monumentally better than the first match. And the finish here would have been the Beverly Brothers. Like, I loved the finish where they would lift the guy up and the other guy would just slam him down face first to the mat. So they did that, and they did that to Luke, I believe, is who I put in there. So, all right, Beverly Brothers going over. Not great match quality, but that's okay. Next segment. 96%, of course. I mean, of course. So this is great. Look at this. Okay, good. Both guys going up. Crowd loved it. 96%. That means our main event has a lot of interest. Perfect. Okay. Tatanka and Haku. Could have been better with commentary. It's a house show, guys, so we're not going to have commentary. His popularity went up. Haku's went down. Half a star, 48%. It's a house show. It's not really important. So they didn't give 100% of their effort. So thanks to that. Well, Tatanka did. Tatanka put in a huge effort. So this is basically Haku didn't put in heavy effort. So that's good. Tatanka going over with the end of the trail, Samoan drop. 48%. All right. This is a bit disappointing. I thought this would be better. El Matador going over Skinner with the flying forearm. Skinner was tough time breathing after 12 minutes. I feel like we're going to see the commentary thing again, and I'm going to repeat it. Oh, I won't repeat it over and over again. It's a house show, so this is not going to be a thing. We got a star. The crowd was a little bit in there. I believe that so far the crowd was most interested in Boss Man and Warlord, by the way. So, but as you can see, the second half of the show, and this is by design, is stronger than the first half. Okay. DiBiase retaining the $1 million championship with the $1 million dream. We got a star and a half, and this is the highest rated or most interest match on the show, 65%. All right, so they both didn't have trouble breathing, so that's good. They can handle 11 minutes, roughly. So, okay. Probably match of the night, right? At this point. Ignore the Intercontinental Championship there, by the way. He is not a champion. Next segment. There we go. Oh, look at this gem. 4.5 stars. Look at that. Look at that's great. I love to see that. Crowd, though, not as heavy into it as freaking Warlord and Boss Man, even. DiBiase and Tornado had a better crowd reaction. That's crazy. But this is the best match of the night and probably for the month. 4.5 stars. Look at that. That's good. Hart's got better popularity. Okay. That's good. Good match. Sharpshooter, clean in the middle. Making a Martel submit. The crowd loves Sid, and I can't blame them. Domination, powerbomb, 1, 2, 3. The crowd loved it. Negative half star, but that's okay. That was the point. we got what we wanted. Good crowd reaction. Sid over Berserker. Easy peasy. And here we go. Match of the night in terms of crowd reaction. I mean, they love these guys. They're all stars. 2.5, that's fine. Elbow drop 1, 2, 3 after the match. The DDT, which we'll get to here in a minute. But for the actual match itself, perfect. Ideally, what we want to do. And then 93% right there. Final, so I don't think that's for the whole show. That's got to be just for the segment, right? Because there's no way that whole show just got 93%. Let's see. 73%. Okay, I'll take that. A house show getting 73%. That makes it sound like, people tended to enjoy it. So a quick rundown here. Boss Man beat Warlord with a Boss Man Slam. 8 minutes, 56%. The crowd, though, was noticeably into it, 63%. Then we had the Beverly Brothers beating the Bushwhackers. Not as much crowd interest, but that's okay. You gotta eat it sometimes. The call out for later on the night, 96%, the highest rated segment on the whole show, just to build to the anticipation of the main event. Tatanka with the end of the trail Samoan drop after 10 minutes to beat Haku. Al Matador with the flying forearm to beat Skinner. The $1 Million champion Teddy DiBiase making Texas Tornado submit to the $1 Million Dream or pass out to it in 11 minutes, 63%. I like that. Seems pretty reasonable. Match of the night, though, with Bret Hart retaining the Intercontinental Championship, defeating Rick Martel by submission. 4.5-star match. The crowd reaction, though, wasn't as high as even the Boss Man Warlord match. But that's your match of the night. Like, that's going to get people to come back in the future. That type of deal. Sid with the dominating performance. The crowd loved it. Crowd reaction-wise, of course, the match rating was not great. And then the solid main event, elbow drop, Randy Savage pinning Jake Roberts after 15 minutes. But Jake getting his revenge with the DDT to end the show. And, of course, Savage getting the crowd to get him afterwards. All right. So that wraps up our house show. And as you can see, we've made some money, so I'll have to go and look and see how we did there. But we have updates. It looks like every single guy so far has accepted our contract offers. Yeah. Well, they're not pending anymore. I mean, they've accepted it. Right? I think that's everybody. I'm pretty sure, guys. Right? Did we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think that's everybody. Everybody has accepted our contracts. So we're gonna have to make sure we use them. We're definitely gonna have to use these guys. Ideally, I don't want to use them as enhancement. I mean, Waltman we will. Oh wait, maybe Jerry didn't accept it. Did I not offer one to Jerry? Jerry Lynn? I don't know. I guess I'll have to go back and look. We have other updates though. Okay, WCW is starting to do stuff. Ross Hart has signed an exclusive David Manning. Okay. There's Kenta Kobashi, okay. Rey Mysterio agrees to a tour with FMW. Sasaki goes FMW. Jerry Lynn is going on tour with FMW. Mark Curtis is going with UWF as a referee. I could probably grab Mark Curtis as a referee. I love him as a referee. He's really good. Okay, I don't think... Okay, so, signing-wise and stuff, that wasn't that bad. WCW Power Hour. Not enough going on here. Diamond Stud beating Van Hammer. There's a Sting Luger angle there. Giant Gonzalez winning. And then, yeah, okay. That looked miserable, honestly. Okay, let's see our hit. Can we see event histories? Okay, yeah, this is what we want. Perfect. All right, so our projection was actually what I think 5,000. Our max was 5,400, so we got 5,025. That's not bad. Not a sellout, but we it looks like we got some decent money there. Okay, so tickets. I wish it would tell us by show, and maybe if I really take the time to look at it, that it will. But for that show alone, we made from tickets just was 300,000. Sponsorships just about 800. Staff wages 400,000. The venues 30. So we have $637,000 so far profit. Okay, that sounds like it could be not bad. You know, I mean, we haven't even done a pay-per-view yet and stuff like that. So if we can continue to just get a $300,000 house, and we're not even using. I mean, we use Savage and Roberts, and those are our two main event guys. But we didn't even use Hogan or any of that, and we're saving so much from this fee. Okay, I didn't book Superstars of Wrestling, so this is where we're going to conclude for the first episode. But I would say a successful first house show, and our first angles and our build to Royal Rumble is going to be starting here with Superstars of Wrestling. So I will get that booked. We'll do that, and maybe we'll do Superstars of Wrestling and the house show to kind of maybe get as much as we can done here. But who will qualify for the Royal Rumble? Who is going to win the Royal Rumble? Who's going to be the WWF World Champion? What direction are we going to go in? Where should we go? What do you want to see? Try to challenge me. There's only one way to find out, and that's to continue on here in this alternate universe of the WWF 1992. I hope to see you in the next one.